Rick Dollar with NetRadioDogs.com, and I am in the big town of Marion, Virginia. And we're actually at the home of Virginia Sweetwater Moonshine tonight, right across the street from the lovely Lincoln Theater. And at these guys are smiling. Have you guys sampled already?
Well, you know what? We get this close to liquor, we smile. That's just all there is to it.
Yeah, that's right.
Believe me, I didn't tell them to do that. Okay, we got Dudley, Connell, and Fred Travers.
Yes.
And who do you guys play for?
Seldom Scene.
Seldom Scene.
Seldom Scene.
Legendary in the world of bluegrass and a lot of other things too. I've heard, but some of that I can't talk about. I think it's still under.
That's probably a good thing.
Yeah, under indictment or something.
Right.
We told that we'd have to kill everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not ready to go yet. And you guys are part of the band, and the actual group itself was established in 1971.
Yes.
But when did you come on board with the guys?
Actually, New Year's Eve, 1995.
Wow, that's a good time to come on.
At the Birchmere.
Just celebrated our 20th anniversary this
Yeah,
year.
this past New Year's at the Birchmere was.
Well, congratulations.
20 years.
I mean,
Thank
it's the good thing is you guys are still going.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I heard the warm ups and it was smoking.
Well,
I mean, yeah, I mean that's what we like to hear
Thank
when
you.
we come and hear
Yeah, it's
people
been-
like this. It's
been a lot of fun.
well, I'm sure it has.
Yeah.
I'm sure it has. We're glad to see you guys in Marion, Virginia. But now the last record you put out was in 2014, correct?
Right.
Okay. What was the name of that record?
A long time. Seldom Seen.
Long time
Just
seldom
got
seen.
nominated.
Yeah. Right.
Well, and how many dates a year you guys think you do?
You know, what, about 65?
Yeah,
maybe,
probably
something?
so. You know, we're not really what you would call a full-time band. I
We're
don't
not
think.
You're not road dogs,
And
are
actually,
you?
to be honest, I think from the time that the scene became
Yeah.
a band, that was kind of their approach, because most of the guys in the band had jobs,
Right.
and it was kind of their weekly card game. And it was
Yeah.
just, they just got together and had fun, and that's pretty much the approach that we've taken all these
Yeah,
years.
there is nothing wrong with that.
No,
I mean,
no, it's been great because there's not a whole lot of pressure to play a whole bunch because you have to pay bills with it and all
That's
that kind
right.
of thing, and so it's been all more just fun.
Well, I'm telling you, there's more legendary stuff out there about you guys than you know.
Oh,
Or you may know. I don't know.
I think that's good.
Dudley's
Some of
wanting to say something there.
that legendary stuff, I'm not sure we really want to hear.
Well,
but-
it is like Fred said. We don't own a bus.
Yeah.
And we don't always travel together. Sometimes we do. If it's necessary, we will.
Right.
But generally, we go out and we work weekends, and some of us still carry day jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So we're kind of like a weekend warrior,
Yeah.
And I think it's one of the reasons, I would say, that why we've been together without a personnel change in 20 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
because,
pretty good.
yeah, it's unheard of.
Yeah, it
really,
is.
It really is. With the exception of John Duffy, who we lost in December
Right.
of 1996.
Right.
Right.
Because when Dudley and I and the current bass player Ronnie Simpkins joined the band in New
Mm-hmm.
Year's Eve 1995, we were hired actually by Ben Eldridge, the original banjo
Right.
player.
Yeah, I spoke to Ben over there.
And John Duffy, the original mandolin player, tenor singer extraordinaire.
Mhm.
So that we became the Seldom Scene that
Right.
night, which was really
Ben's
kind of
something
cool.
else, man.
Yeah.
He's you can tell this guy's got about. You could probably sit down with him for hours.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
And get the stories out of him.
Yeah. Oh, he's got way too many stories.
You know something that's, and this is something that's been, I've always loved Ben's banjo playing, and I've always respected him as a person, as a player. But, Ben has kind of decided to start slowing down a little bit. And,
Sure.
and he hadn't played much with us since, I guess, July
Right.
of 2015. But
Yeah.
what I was going to tell you is that we've had banjo players come in, and they played great.
Mm-hmm.
But Ben is a genius. I mean,
I'm sure.
his style is totally his own, totally unique. And everybody's, the banjo players are coming saying, "This is really hard. How do you do
Yeah, how do you
that?"
play like that?
And you know what? He didn't. It wasn't hard for Ben. That's
Right.
just the way he played.
Well, I've interviewed a lot of banjo players, and everybody seems to have their little niche or their way of changing how they play.
Right.
Mhm.
And it's really odd that you bring that up, but I mean, you look at guys like Ralph Stanley, Carl Jackson, guys like that. They're all It's all different.
Well, here's my take on Ben. When Ben first started playing, he learned, of course, as everybody did, from Earl.
That's right.
And he would slow down those 45 records.
That's
and
exactly
try
what
to
Carl Jackson told
try
me.
to learn how to play.
That's right.
That Earl stop, and he can do it.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened with Ben was he happened to get with a group of guys in the Seldom Scene that had a tendency to play music that was outside of bluegrass.
Yeah.
And so he actually developed his own style of banjo that fit that music.
Amazing.
And that really became Ben Eldridge's style, even though he would never tell you that.
We will.
But he should.
He would never tell you that, but he's just a very special banjo player that really hasn't. I mean, there are tons of people out there and those that try to play banjo that really recognize that.
Yeah.
But he kind of, like he's always said, I've just kind of stood over there to the left and played banjo for over 40 years. That's all I've done.
He's such a humble guy. I talked to him in the green room and he was just, I'm just Ben. And
That's right.
Whether he knows it or not.
He's a banjo player's banjo player.
That's exactly right.
He really
I
is.
mean,
If we were to play Foggy Mountain Breakdown, he could play it just like
Wear It
Earl.
Out.
If we were to play Reason for Being that the Seldom Scene did in the early 70s with a totally different banjo break that, non-traditional, he could do that.
just pick it up. Wouldn't
He just, I think that the way the scene evolved and the music that they played actually kind of developed Ben's banjo style.
Mhm. That's a good point, Fred. I think that's true too.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I think that young musicians should be aware of. Play what fits the people that you're playing with. Like nobody could play with the Stanley Brothers like Ralph Stanley. Nobody
That's
could
true.
play with Flatt and Scruggs like Earl. I mean, you could emulate it, but those guys developed a sound that worked for that band sound,
That's
and
right.
that's what's really cool. I think.
Right.
That's good.
And that's what you got to have. You got to have a signature.
Yeah, we
you got to
talk-
have a sound.
We talk to a lot of younger guys coming up, and we get approached a lot by younger guys, saying, hey, who do I need to talk to? What do I need to do? And they'll send us stuff, and I can see older styles of playing, but if like you're saying, if they got that little niche of what they do in there, that's really the only way it's going to work.
Yeah. I think it has a lot to do with the choice of music that you play.
That's true.
The type of music that your band tries to play.
Yeah.
I mean, if you reach out and get different things, you have to learn how to play that to make it fit.
That's right.
That's a real special thing when you can develop a band sound that's recognizable. Seldom Scene has, and in the in the later days, well, the Country Gentlemen even earlier than the Scene, Hot Rise, Nashville Bluegrass Band. As soon as they start to play, you recognize.
Absolutely.
You
recognize
know
it
who
is.
that is.
And that's what you need to have. That's what you need to have.
We've had the honor to speak to a lot of good musicians, and but you guys are right in there with us.
Thanks.
The cool thing was, like I said, just listening to the sound check. It's not like a sound check. It's like you were doing it with 50,000 people sitting in there, and that's good to
That's
hear.
very nice.
Well, yeah, real nice of you to say.
Well,
we've enjoyed it very much through the years, and we hope to keep it going
that's
as long
good.
as we can.
That's what you need to do.
Yeah.
If not, you're gonna have to teach somebody to play like you guys do.
Either that, or we're gonna have to find
Good luck
something else
with
to
that.
do. Find something else to do on the weekends, I guess.
That's right. Yeah, what are you gonna do on the weekends, man?
We've actually discovered through doing various workshops over the years that we really don't know what we're doing.
Exactly, we don't. It's funny. Yeah.
It's funny because we could play this music. We've been playing it for a long time,
Right.
but to take it apart, it's like, Fred, what do you do there now?
Right. That's really funny because that happens to us. We'll do workshops at a festival or a concert or whatever, and people will come and say, "Well, how did you sing the harmony on Old Train?" And then we'll start playing it and try to decipher it. We really can't figure it out.
Don't know.
But if we were just to play it, we could do it. But when we have to break it down,
It's kind of like muscle
pretty
memory,
intricate.
but it's this muscle.
Yeah. So
Some days it's working better than others.
That's exactly right.
then when that happens, we realize, you know what? That's pretty special.
That's exactly
You
right.
know.
But you guys have incredible talent.
Thanks, Fred.
Well, thank
You've been around incredible talent all your lives.
Yes.
So I mean,
Very fortunate.
I mean, it's got to rub off, and things have got to happen when that goes on.
We feel very lucky.
Oh, absolutely.
It's-
I
And
think you
all we've ever tried
I
to
think
do
you
is just continue the spirit of the original band.
That's
all
it.
we've ever tried to do. Because
What
all of
else?
us are big fans of those guys, and
Yeah.
and of course Dudley as a member of the Johnson Mountain Boys, really kind of pioneered that style of music too. So he's, you know, in his own right, he's a
something he would never talk about.
Yeah, he's a pioneer.
Thank you, Fred.
I can say that to you, right? You won't get mad at me.
That's very generous.
No, but he really is. Of the traditional, I mean, he was like the first, you know, the Earls of Leicester now, you know, these guys are bringing, well, these guys were the kind of the first ones to do that way back in the day. They brought that traditional approach back. You know, and now he's been a member of the scene for 20 years, and so, you know, so that's pretty good resume, to tell you the truth.
You know, first of all, thank you, Fred.
You're
That's
welcome.
very generous.
If anything, they're polite.
Give me that $20.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I'll buy you a glass of whiskey.
That'll work.
But you know, coming from the Johnson Mountain Boys to the Seldom Scene was a real challenge for me because I had never played. I'll tell you a funny story though. When I called John, I'd heard through the grapevine that the Seldom Scene were dissolving, and this is when Chesapeake formed.
Right.
And Mike Aldridge, T. Michael Coleman, and Mooney Klein, who were the bass player, guitar player, lead singer, when they left to form their own band, and I heard about it through the grapevine, and I called John, and I said, John, oh my God, I can't believe, I feel like there's been a death in the family because you guys are an institution here in Washington. And he goes, oh, well, we're not really hanging it up. We're just looking for a dobro player, baritone singer, guitar player, lead singer, bass player. Bus driver. You know,
oh my God.
Even though we didn't have a bus.
And it's
There's one guy that looks like a bus driver.
He's just a funny guy. Hey
Hey,
there.
what's up?
So I asked John, I said, well, I don't even know why I said it. I said, John, would you like to get together and sing sometime?
Yeah.
And I felt like I'd made a mistake because the phone was totally quiet. I thought, oh.
Yeah, it's kind of scary when that happens.
Yeah, and he said, well, do you know our stuff? And I said, no, I really don't know it, but I've heard it for the past 30 years, and I would really be interested. And he gave me a list of songs to learn, and it was funny. I didn't realize it at the time that he gave them to me, but he had me singing different parts.
Oh my
I'd
gosh.
sing lead here, baritone here, little tenor here, and he was checking me. He was checking my chops.
Yeah, he's trying to see how you're going to do it.
And I tell you what, it was a real challenge for me, but I would not trade that challenge for nothing. I've learned so much working with these guys. These guys are great players.
Thank you.
No doubt about it. I think you all have a lot to be thankful for as far as everybody finding everybody at the right time.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, just the way things keep
That's
going.
so fortunate. You know,
All right.
it's just right place, right time.
That's it. Sometimes that's the whole thing about it.
It really is.
And we were kind of neighbors. I mean, we all lived, within, I don't know, 50, 60
Yeah,
miles.
not too far. Right around deep Washington, D.C.
Well, that's not bad.
That's where the band's kind of been based all these years.
That's what you
Which is a little obscure in itself, bluegrass band based out of Washington, D.C.
Yeah, but bluegrass is so good, you can do it anywhere.
I think so.
What they say.
But then, of course, the band kind of developed a sound around that particular urban environment, too.
Right.
So that kind of created a little niche for them.
That's good.
So a little different than those that maybe played in Tennessee or Kentucky.
Exactly. That's a whole different thing.
A little different. It's not that it's either or bad. It's just they kind of work
different.
good together.
That's the whole what you're looking for, man. Is what you got and what you do.
Yeah, it was nice, all of us being kind of around that area, though. We used to get together before we actually played our first show live. I think we talked to John like in the spring of '95, but we couldn't get together to rehearse until like September of '95, something like that. And I was talking about how I really didn't call John looking for a job, but by the time September rolled around, I wanted it so bad.
Yeah.
And so what I was going to say, and I sidetracked myself, is that the nice thing about us all living close by is we go to John's every Wednesday night and rehearse around his pool table. He had this big rec room built onto his house, and we'd stand around the pool table and sing and play. And I wouldn't trade that for nothing. What great days.
Yeah, that was even more special than playing on stage, really. Yeah, it really was. And it was so weird because, John and Duffy had this thing that, he had this aura, is that the right
Stage
word?
persona?
Stage persona, aura about it that he hated to practice. And he truly did.
Yeah.
He would never practice, he never, toward the end.
He just did.
His last 10 years, he hated to get together he was like, I remember him saying, you know, when we did it, could I just phone my parts in?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That was
as far as recording.
Right.
And you know what was weird? He was way ahead of his time because now he could.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. It
But
can be
anyway,
done very easily.
It was something with us, and he really had no choice with us because it was 3/5 of the band that was brand new. So we had to rehearse. And so we would, you know, of course, we would go over to his house, accommodate him as best as we could. And Ben used to tell us that this is the weirdest thing I've ever seen in my life. So Duffy hadn't rehearsed in 10 years. And he's calling me up on the phone on Monday. Hey,
Wearing
Benny,
it out.
can you get together Wednesday night? We're going to get together. He was like really having
See?
fun again. You know?
That's right. I think having fun is 95% of what
Yeah.
you know what it ends up.
Oh,
being.
absolutely. If it's not fun, there ain't no sense in doing it.
That's
Really.
that's kind of especially true of this bunch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
I could tell up there you guys were like a well-oiled machine, but it's if you've got a smile on your face while you're doing it,
We
you can
enjoy it.
tell if somebody's enjoying it and if they're not.
We've had that compliment before from
Yeah.
fans and stuff, and so you know it makes you feel good.
It
you know?
does. It does. I think you guys.
And
have
we
it
do
figured out.
have fun.
Yeah.
We
Could
do.
be a lot of years ahead of you too. I'm thinking.
I
Hope
hope
so.
I hope
Yeah.
so. And you know, we get that question asked: How long are you? How long are you going to keep this going?
Mm-hmm.
And my stock answer is until it's not fun anymore.
That's
'Cause
exactly
we
right.
enjoy it.
Which is going to be pretty hard for this group
Yeah,
because
you
I
ain't
don't
going
think
nowhere.
we'll never not have fun at it. That's for sure.
Oh man, well guys, it's been a lot of fun. I appreciate
been a
you
pleasure.
sitting down with us, man.
Pleasure, man.
We're at
Thanks
the
for
home
having
of
us.
Warhorn Whiskey here in Marion, Virginia, and I don't know, these guys are just a hoot. So we're gonna have to talk to them again sometime.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anytime.
these are the guys from Seldom Scene, and you're watching NetRadioDogs.com.